Tonight on CTV News at 6, consumption site contraction. Recovery replaces harm reduction in southern Alberta cities with changes on the way for Edmonton.
We've got the system really working well here. In Edmonton, we're not quite at that speed yet, and in Grande Prairie.
Passenger win.
You put your bag in the sizer there, and it just never fits.
A Canadian Airlines carry-on luggage sizer smaller than advertised. And Free Art Friday at a Southside school.
So people can take it and have some art for their heart, because everyone deserves kindness.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Edmonton's 2 remaining supervised drug consumption sites will remain open for now. The province says its recovery model for addictions treatment has been so successful it can safely close overdose prevention sites in Calgary and Lethbridge. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports.
We already know what they're going to be injecting. They told us that.
Supervised drug consumption sites were introduced under the NDP as a harm reduction response to the opioid crisis. Now, under the UCP, Alberta has a recovery approach to addiction treatment.
Addiction is a healthcare issue that requires treatment and recovery-focused supports.
The government is spending big to build 11 recovery communities across Alberta. Most will be operational by the end of the year. It's also expanding access to treatment, including for people in the justice system.
People need more than survival. They need hope. They need treatment, and they need a path to recovery.
Supervised consumption sites are no longer part of that path in Calgary and Lethbridge. Facilities there will close at the end of June. Minister Rick Wilson says those communities no longer need them.
Somebody that wants to go in for treatment, I'll get you in today if you want. We've got the system really working well here. In Edmonton, we're not quite at that speed yet, and in Grande Prairie.
There are 2 sites left in Edmonton where people can use their own illegal drugs under medical supervision. There is no timeline to close them or one in Grande Prairie. In Calgary, the province is replacing the consumption site with a 24/7 overdose response team, fast access to addiction medicine, and other expanded treatment options.
You're not showing that that safety net was not working. What you're showing is how hard you have to work to compensate for removing that service.
Health researcher Elaine Hishka says the sites are proven to save lives, especially in the homeless population. The government points to a study that looked at the impact of closing the consumption site in Red Deer last spring.
The study found that overdose deaths did not increase. Emergency room visits did not spike amongst the users.
Hishka takes issue with the study for multiple reasons. It was done by a Crown corporation that reports to Minister Wilson, and its authors included caveats with their results.
They specifically say that we cannot draw conclusive findings about the safety of closing these sites from their analysis.
Regardless, the province is leaning on the study to help justify the closures in southern Alberta, with plans to close sites in Edmonton and Grande Prairie at a later date. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Canada Border Service Agency is identifying the 2 men it deported for their alleged roles in a national extortion scheme based here in Edmonton. Nicole Lampa takes a look at who they are and what's next for them.
The extortion case, Project Gaslight, lasted nearly 4 years from the investigation to the most latest conviction. After a resurgence in copycat extortions last May, Edmonton police enlisted the help of the Canada Border Services Agency for Project Al Extortion.
This strategy worked quickly. It eliminated the threat, ended the extortions by this group in the Edmonton area.
The CBSA says it arrested 2 men in November for immigration investigations related to extortions. Arshdeep Singh, who came on a student permit in 2022, was deported in January. Sukhnaz Singh Sandhu was removed last month after spending 10 years in Canada as a temporary resident. Both men remained at an immigration detention center on the grounds of being a danger to the public until they were kicked out of the country for violating the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act.
Undoubtedly, this is a very unique approach.
CTV's public safety analyst applauds the move.
So getting them out of the country, I think, is a tax savings and a public safety plus. So goodbye, good riddance.
This case has all the hallmarks of politics.
An immigration lawyer explains the motivation and consequences behind the deportations.
So yes, you can resolve your political issue and your criminal issue by giving a plane ride to the accused, who goes scot-free with a get-out-of-jail card. What does that say to the victims? If the victim said, yeah, we're okay with this, do it. If the victims want justice, the politicians better think twice.
Edmonton police say the pair were part of an alleged core group operating out of Edmonton, connected to cases in Calgary, BC, and Ontario. Another 3 are still being investigated by the CBSA for immigration violations. A total of 51 suspects are connected to Project Al extortion. Nicole Lampa, CTV News, Edmonton.
A pair of Edmonton men are among 3 charged with the murder of a man in Calgary. The victim was found dead outside his vehicle in December. Police say the men from Edmonton and a 17-year-old are now charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Last week, 2 of those suspects were arrested in BC in what police are calling a lucky break.
We have had warrants for all 4 individuals placed on our CPIC system. When the RCMP located the males who had driven off the road in a snowstorm, sort of in the middle of nowhere, they came upon them. When they realized who they were dealing with, they contacted us and took direction from us to arrest them.
Investigators are still looking for Yaya Abdullahi. The 22-year-old may be in Edmonton, BC's Lower Mainland, or the Northwest Territories. Edmonton police say they may have encountered a man who's been missing for nearly 6 years but need the public's help to find him again. Jeffrey Caporali was reported missing in the spring of 2020. Police say they interacted with a man earlier this month with the same name. Officers on scene later learned he was a missing person. Police have been unable to find the man since and are asking for the public's help. He's believed to be living in areas along the river valley. Post-secondary students will soon have access to more affordable housing options in Edmonton's downtown. The city says it will use $15 million to create 550 new student housing units in the core. The money is coming through the city's Housing Accelerator Fund Action Plan. It's given to projects designed specifically for students with rental rates below the monthly average. The units must also be reserved for students for at least 10 years.
Because we know that students face significant pressures around housing, as post-secondary institutions expand downtown and draw thousands of students into the core, it's critical that those students have suitable housing options nearby.
New student homes really do help strengthen our downtown area. They bring more people into the core, they support local businesses, they add to the energy of the community, and again, they help students by making sure that they can live close to campus, to transit, and to jobs.
5 projects will share the funding. Construction is expected to start this spring. The province is promising more money to improve the health of Indigenous people in Alberta. If Budget 2026 is approved, nearly $16 million will go towards compensating 95 doctors, many of whom are Indigenous, to provide culturally safe and patient-centered care. Another $16 million would help pay for programs delivered by the Indigenous Health Division. The funding is based on recommendations by a panel made up of healthcare professionals, government, as well as First Nation, Métis, and Inuit members.
I think the biggest thing is that, you're listening. The government is listening. And, we're turning this into action. And so, again, I'm pleased to see the work that we've put together. And really, it's a blueprint for, health solutions and health pathways moving forward here. So I'm really excited about that.
Funding will also go towards prevention and early detection initiatives. Ramadan has now ended and the short period known as Eid has begun. Thousands of Muslims in the Edmonton area are marking the start of Eid with prayers, donations to the poor, and feasts. It marks the end of the lengthy period of fasting during Ramadan, the holiest month in the Muslim calendar.
It is called the Eid al-Fitr, which means the celebration of breaking the fast. And it is pretty much to take a moment to acknowledge and kind of pat ourselves on the back a little bit for all of the deeds that we've done during the whole month, whether it's worship, whether it's acts like volunteering or giving charity or whatever it is.
The feasts and visiting can continue for 3 days. It includes giving gifts to children to acknowledge their fasting during Ramadan. Some students in Edmonton are spreading joy through their art. A school in the Riverbend area is offering up pieces to anyone who wants a little extra color in their life. Nicole Weisberg has more.
Our enthusiastic students, and a fence full of art. These kids are excited to offer a gift to the neighborhood, their creative expressions.
I personally love art, and I love seeing others' art, so people can take it and have some art for their heart, because everyone deserves kindness.
This was organized by the student leadership team at St. Mary Catholic School. The group was inspired by a Lethbridge school that does something similar.
I thought it was a great idea to get our arts into other people's homes and make them feel happy.
What we really wanted to focus on was, it doesn't take a big event or a huge project to bring joy and to spread kindness. It's something little.
School staff say the leadership team rallied students from every grade to participate, focusing on images and messaging that might make others happy.
Of course, that message was adjusted based on the age. So the kindergarten kids worked really hard. They cut out some positive words to stick in the bags. And then the grade sixes, took it to another level. They wanted to really focus on writing some messages that were inspirational to others in hopes of lifting others up.
And based on the reactions of those passing by, the students accomplished their goal.
Especially on a dreary day like this, it sure brings some sunshine to someone's day.
I like them in they're so beautiful.
Staff say any art not picked up today will make its way into neighborhood mailboxes and nearby senior centers, so every message and dash of color doesn't go to waste. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmontonians have the chance to tour 9 art galleries this weekend for free. You can hop on one of these buses tomorrow and visit all the art galleries downtown. The art bus is free to ride, and so is admission to the galleries. You'll also get a discount at art gallery stores and some restaurants. Art Bus is being put on by McEwen's Mitchell Art Gallery and the Edmonton Transit Service. Its goal is to make it easier to visit downtown.
You might be intimidated trying to navigate on your own, perhaps construction and figuring out how to navigate around construction or where to park can feel like a challenge. And this event turns all of those challenges into an opportunity to do something fun together.
The first bus leaves McEwen's Allard Hall tomorrow at noon. 3 art buses will run a loop between each gallery until 5. A forward who was just called up to the NHL yesterday could make his Oilers debut tomorrow. Roby Järventie played his first 7 games in the NHL 2 seasons ago with the Ottawa Senators. Since then, the Finnish forward has been with the Oilers farm team in Bakersfield. After struggling with knee injuries, he's managed to stay healthy this season, playing in 52 games and scoring 17 goals. Järventie says if he's called on to play, he'll be ready.
I feel like as the year has gone on, I got my legs underneath me again. Feel more confident skating, making plays.
The Oilers wrap up a 4-game homestand tomorrow when they host the Tampa Bay Lightning. Canada's newest figure skating medalists are coming to Rogers Place. Piper Gillies and Paul Poirier won Olympic bronze in ice dance. They're part of the latest cast of Stars on Ice. The tour also features performances by figure skating legend Elvis Stoico and decorated Olympian Caitlin Osmond, who is a product of the Ice Palace Skating Club here in Edmonton. Stars on Ice will stop at Rogers Place May 8th. Tickets are now on sale. Okay, first check on weather. Josh, what takes you to Griesbach tonight?
It's the Stars Lottery, and midnight tonight is the final deadline for the Stars Lottery. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, some of the prizing as well in a moment. But let me introduce you to the VIP, very important patient, Trevor Mills. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm spectacular. Nice to see you again. Trevor and I, you may remember, spoke at a Stars Lottery show home a couple of years ago. For people who don't remember, you have a pretty interesting story with Stars. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, on May 6, 2021, I was helping somebody out of their vehicle. They'd gone off the road in the mountains and were in a ravine. And unfortunately, when I pulled them out, their vehicle rolled over me and I was very badly injured. And fortunately, Stars was there to help me.
Yeah, so there you are trying to help somebody else out, and then all of a sudden you're in need of help. Where would you be without Stars?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I had some pretty significant injuries, and I certainly I don't know if I'd be here, to be perfectly honest, if it wasn't for Stars. So I owe them everything for sure.
Okay, so obviously this is one of many reasons why it's so important for people to support Stars. I know, I can see you sort of welling up a little bit just thinking about how important it is. Why should people buy their tickets?
I had talked to people before my accident about Stars and had heard of it and bought the calendars and stuff like that. After my accident, I didn't realize the impact of how many people it actually affects. And within our friends group and family group, you talk to people and everybody knows somebody or is related to somebody that's used the service. It's not just a rural service, it's used within the city as well. You may think that you'll never need it, but the reality is you or potentially somebody you know is going to need it at some time in the future.
Okay, and so buying tickets is just one of the ways that you can, a big way that you can help support Stars. Tickets from this lottery will support one full base for a year. Is that right, Angela? One full base for a year. So go to starslottery.ca. Before when?
Midnight tonight. Buy your tickets. If you bought some, don't be afraid to buy more.
Have you heard what the 50-50's at?
I've not. What's that?
Just over $4 million already. So grab your 50-50. All kinds of prizes. About 2,000 people will win, and thousands of people will be impacted by the great work that Stars does right across our province. Trevor, thank you so much. Very quickly, let's take a look at weather conditions outside right now. You can see on the satellite and radar map, you've got a bit of a rain-snow mix in that pinkish purple zone in the Edmonton area, but that's going to fairly quickly change over to snow, and I think we'll see a couple centimeters of snow by late tonight. Full look at your forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up, fighting with flair.
You'll see on any given day dozens of customers and people at the gate saying, getting this extra charge.
The steps one man took to prove his luggage wasn't too large, and
the January 1st number was the first indication of that.
A bad year for barbecues when beef prices could start to go down.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Coming up Monday on Your Morning, we're talking healthy masculinity, how to model it, how to nurture it, and how to avoid negative influence that is evolving online. Have a great weekend. We'll see you at 6 on Monday.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Flair Airlines will review its baggage sizers at airports across the country in response to a CTV News Edmonton investigation. A local man had a piece of luggage custom built to Flair's online specifications only to discover it didn't fit. As Connor Hogg reports, he's now considering a class action lawsuit.
As travelers rush to catch their flights at YEG, most have made sure their carry-ons and personal items are the right size.
I measure it before, before I carry it.
I wanted to carry on my bag, but it was just too much. So kind of stood there for I want to say 5-10 minutes just holding up the line.
After several financial hits, one frequent Flair flyer decided to take matters into his own hands.
I've flown with Flair quite a few times, and every single time I would go and you put your bag in the sizer there, and it just never fits.
So Andre Grondin had this custom suitcase built to the exact personal item specifications on Flair's website, with a width slightly less than Flair's published 6 inches. When he tried to take his new bag on a Flair flight, the custom-built briefcase didn't fit.
The sizer, it turns out, is about an 1/8 smaller than what it's listed as, the dimensions that are given on your boarding pass. You'll see on any given day dozens of customers and people at the gate saying, getting this extra charge, this last-minute fee that you're not aware of, and, here, put it in that sizer. Oh, it doesn't fit in there, you got to pay.
In response, Flair told CTV today, our baggage sizers are designed to match the dimensions outlined in our policy. However, in this instance, the experience fell short of our standard. Flair contacted Grondin and offered to refund his baggage charges. Flair also told him the sizer was damaged.
I don't believe that to be the case. There's nothing damaged about that sizing rack.
Grondin is now considering a class action lawsuit. Flair says it's initiating a network-wide review of its baggage sizers to ensure consistency with its published dimensions. Customers whose baggage doesn't fit in Flair's sizers pay a fee between $29 and $109 Canadian dollars plus tax. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Highway 93 between Banff and Jasper is closed because of a high risk of avalanches. Crews are doing avalanche control work along the highway. It will be closed until at least noon tomorrow. Avalanche Canada says cooler weather this weekend will help, but conditions in the Rocky Mountains remain volatile. Parks Canada is urging people to check all conditions before heading out. The price of beef is rising despite signs the cattle industry is becoming more stable. CTV's Quinn Keenan has more on when we could expect the cost of steak to become more lean.
Beef prices have continued to rise over recent years. New data from Statistics Canada shows beef prices have risen 14% year over year.
An increase year over year. We are working on double-digit increases in the price of retail beef, that is for sure. A lot of it has been driven by the rebuild that's now going on in Canada.
The biggest driver behind these increases has been smaller herd sizes. Ranchers in southern Alberta shrunk their herds to stay profitable amid drought. A similar situation in the Midwestern United States has compounded the problem.
So when there's a drought in the Midwest U.S. and a drought in the prairies in Canada, the two were kind of combined together to have a little double whammy, and both sides of the border reduced their cow herds.
It will likely be at least a couple years before prices begin to stabilize. It typically takes about 3 years for a calf to grow to the point it can be processed.
We have to retain a heifer, then get the heifer bred, then she has a calf, then the calf has to be fed and grown up and processed, and that's almost a 3-year process.
There are some signs the Canadian cattle industry is recovering. Better weather conditions have encouraged ranchers to grow their herds. At the start of 2026, there were 11.1 million cattle in Canada, which was 2.3% higher than 2025. That's the first year-over-year increase since 2018.
Now that we had some favorable weather conditions last year, we're starting to see producers really want to expand their herd. This year, the January 1st number was the first indication of that.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Coming up, ground control to student Tom.
Even being able to be a small part of that is really incredible for me and really empowering.
One Alberta student is getting the opportunity to learn from NASA.
We're here at the Stars Lottery show home, and as I look out the window here in Griesba, it is snowing. I'll tell you how much is on the way and how long it'll last right after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A grade 11 student from Alberta has been selected as Western Canada's representative to an international space school program. CTV's Kevin Green reports.
At the Hangar Flight Museum, Thomas Toombs walks past aircraft and space memorabilia that helped spark a lifelong interest in engineering and aerospace.
Earth is a one-of-a-kind planet, right? And how truly, I think spaceflight gives us so much more power in the world. You know, GPS, right? Technology revolves around space exploration, right?
Toombs already holds a student pilot permit and has even volunteered on a NASA citizen science project.
Where actually I helped NASA categorize Martian clouds on Mars, and we were hoping to build a big centralized database so we can better understand Mars's weather.
That should help him as he joins students from more than 20 countries in Houston, spending 2 weeks working with industry experts, including NASA engineers, designing a simulated mission to Mars.
Even being able to be a small part of that is really incredible for me and really empowering.
Getting the nod requires a rigorous selection process. In Western Canada, that's administered by Calgary's Hangar Flight Museum.
They get a really interesting experience by putting forward an application, doing the panel interview, getting that kind of experience. But the actual student who's chosen, it's a life-changing experience for them.
This was Toombs' second application. He'll be the only Canadian participant this year. On returning, he hopes to encourage others to pursue goals in STEM careers.
Just getting, I think, kids interested in science, generally, honestly, I think is a very great thing, as there's so many careers that people can do within STEM science, technology, engineering, math subject.
Officials at the Hangar Flight Museum say the experience can shape career paths, with some past students going on to work in aerospace and science.
We've had just some amazing people. These are top performers. They are people who are movers and shakers and are really getting to go somewhere in their lives.
The Hangar Flight Museum has helped select and send a Western Canadian student to the program for more than 20 years. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Let's go back out to Josh now. Josh, a beautiful start to spring.
You're being sarcastic, right?
A little bit, just a bit. You can't see that through the camera, probably.
Yeah, I can't see your face when you're saying this. Yes, it is spring. Spring equinox early this morning. And now, all of a sudden, after 3 straight double-digit days, we're back to around 0 through this afternoon. It is 0 still right now as you look outside with the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. And there's the snow starting to come down in the Edmonton region. We'll take a close look at that with the radar map in a moment. -2 in Fort McMurray, 1 in Grande Prairie, 1 in Edmonton for a daytime high this morning. We've hovered around 0 through most of this afternoon. Look at 20 in Lethbridge, 22 in Medicine Hat, 16 in Calgary. It wasn't that long ago. It was in the mid-teens here in Edmonton. It'll be a while before we're back into that 10 to 15 degree range, though. 3 degrees is the average daytime high. I think tomorrow we'll get back to that 3 degree range. There's the snow. You see how it was kind of pink, purplish there on the radar map? You had that mixed precipitation, and now it has cooled off enough in the mid and upper levels that it has fully flipped over to snow across most of the north half of Edmonton. This will continue to move off to the south and southeast, and we'll get some heavier pockets of snow here over the course of the next couple of hours. I think most of the snow is done in Edmonton by the time we get to about 11 o'clock, midnight-ish. Snowfall warnings in effect. Heaviest of the snow will be around Edson, west towards Hinton. Whitecourt probably gets about 10, maybe 15 centimeters of snow, and then possibly upwards of 20 centimeters in through the Nordegg region. You can see that purple zone, that bullseye there in through the foothills, mostly south of Highway 16. Here in Edmonton, this latest run of the models has us at 4 centimeters of snow. An hour ago, it had us looking at potentially as much as 7 centimeters of snow. There's your range. 8 to 12 seems really unlikely. It's possible, but it seems really unlikely. Little more likely is the trace to 3 centimeter range, but 3 to 8 seems like the best bet as far as how much snow we'll see on the ground by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Watch the timeline on this. You see that darker purple zone sliding through the Edmonton area through this evening and then breaking off to the south. So we're not going to see significant amounts of snow south of Edmonton. Leduc south to Red Deer, there will be some snow. I don't think it's going to amount to all that much. Heaviest of the snow continues overnight tonight and tomorrow morning through the foothills. And for areas south of Calgary, tomorrow morning you'll see some heavy snow. But here in Edmonton, looks like just cloudy skies to start. Chance of some flurries in the evening hours. And then for Sunday, again, mix of sun and cloud, and late in the day, a chance of some either mixed precipitation or a little bit of wet snow. That doesn't really look like it's going to be significant accumulating snow, though. 0 in Edmonton right now. It's -5 in Fort McMurray, -2 in Grande Prairie, and 4 in Red Deer. Temperatures through this evening and overnight tonight slide to about -5 by tomorrow morning. There's your snow. Heaviest here over the course of the next 3-4 hours, and then tapering off overnight. 3 degrees with some sunny breaks tomorrow afternoon and a chance of a few flurries tomorrow evening. 5 degrees Sunday, 3 on Monday, and then a little bit of a cool down middle of next week. You know, a chance of some flurries or some snow Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and daytime highs back below 0 by Wednesday and Thursday. Again, Stars Lottery final deadline is midnight tonight. 3 grand prizes, as well as vehicles, vacations, and more. That's cash a day, and the 50-50, which is over $4 million. StarsLottery.ca. You got to get your tickets, though, before midnight tonight.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, the Iranian threat raising concern around the world. Tourist destinations, parks, and recreational sites threatened, and Ontario to cap ticket resale prices to face value.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
U.S. President Donald Trump is lashing out at NATO again, calling allies cowards for not participating in American efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the Iranian regime is threatening to widen the conflict. Here's CTV's Judy Trin with the latest.
American warplanes and attack helicopters are striking more Iranian targets in efforts to reopen the Hormuz Strait. The United States is also sending 3 more warships and 2,500 more Marines to the Persian Gulf.
No force on earth can beat the American sailors or the American military.
But for the first time in this war, a U.S. F-35 stealth fighter, nearly invisible to radar, was struck over Iran and forced to do an emergency landing. Donald Trump continues to complain that allies are not sending military support to the Strait. On Truth Social, Trump said NATO without the U.S. would be a paper tiger. He called them cowards, unwilling to help despite so little risk. We will remember, the president warned. Allies were not consulted before the U.S. and Israel launched attacks on Iran. 3 weeks after the war started, 7 allies, including Canada, are expressing readiness to contribute appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait.
Celle-ci est strictement défensive.
French President Emmanuel Macron said the help would be strictly defensive to support regional allies and preserve freedom of navigation. Macron did not provide more details about how that will be done. At the White House, Trump seemed to imply that talks to de-escalate would be difficult.
And now nobody wants to be a leader over there anymore. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to, and you know what? We like it that way.
Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not been seen publicly and has only issued written statements. Donald Trump says he believes Khamenei is badly injured. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Iran's military warned today parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations around the globe won't be safe for its enemies. It's raised fears of militant attacks far beyond the region, including here in Canada. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more on the security threat.
As reported by the state broadcaster, Iran's top military spokesperson warned Friday parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations won't be safe for Tehran's enemies around the globe. CTV News reached out to a number of top tourism destinations and organizations in Canada, as well as law enforcement. Canada's spy agency told CTV News the terrorism threat level from Iran has not changed, still at medium, meaning that a violent extremist attack remains a realistic possibility. The most likely scenario for serious violence involves a lone actor whose intent to mobilize is unknown to authorities and who may be inspired by the Mideast conflict.
Iran has a long history of striking abroad. It goes back to the 1980s, the attack against the Marine barracks in Beirut. In the 90s, there was an attack against a Jewish center in Argentina.
We have to obviously be concerned because we know that the IRGC has capabilities globally. They work with organized criminal groups to do targeted killings through transnational repression.
This international security expert says he is most worried about the upcoming World Cup, with thousands attending and the eyes of the world on the U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
I know already that counterterrorism agencies and those that are working on security for the World Cup have had to factor in the Iran dynamic now. And also Iran is qualified to play.
Canada's Tourism Industry Association declined an interview, but told us in a statement they're concerned about any threats that could impact travelers, tourism workers, or destinations, saying they're monitoring official Government of Canada advice carefully and encouraging others to do the same. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. officials say Cuba will not be allowed to take delivery of Russian crude as 2 tankers carrying gas and oil are believed to be on their way to Havana. The fuel-starved island has been dealing with blackouts and in some areas a lack of running water. Cuba needs imported fuel oil and diesel to generate power and avoid more outages. Gasoline sales have been strictly rationed and gas has been sold on the black market for $8 a liter, 6 times its official price. Ontario is planning to outlaw ticket resales that force customers to pay substantially more than the original value. The provincial government is planning to amend the Ticket Sales Act. The move would make it illegal for tickets to concerts, sports, and other live events to be resold for more than their original cost. It's an issue that has plagued Toronto during major events in recent years, like the World Series and Taylor Swift's 2024 concert tour. Many paid thousands more than what the ticket originally cost. The government says the changes will be tabled in the coming days. Still ahead, a snowless winter in some cities isn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Many other municipalities on the slow melt of snow coming from the mountains to recharge our reservoirs.
A lack of moisture could affect BC's lower mainland. Plus,
agriculture industry is a significant portion of Canada.
Concerns over the possible closure of a central Alberta research facility. Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar holding steady near 73 cents U.S. Oil up $2.68, closing the day at about $98 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost nearly $31 today. The TSX is down 537 points. The Dow down 444. There is one city in Canada marking the first day of spring with an almost unheard of feat for a Canadian winter. Vancouver has gone snow-free for the first time in decades. As CTV's Andrew Johnson shows us, that's not necessarily good news.
It's been raining this week in Vancouver, a lot. And on this first day of spring, fresh blossoms are already foreshadowing more beauty to come. Sounds like a normal West Coast winter, but this year, something was missing.
We did not receive measurable snowfall at the Vancouver airport this winter.
Vancouver doesn't get a lot of it, but every winter for decades, there's been at least 1 centimeter of snow on the ground at some point at YVR. Not this season, for the first time since... The Queen was in town to open the city's new domed stadium. The year was 1983. The winter of 2025-26 has also been warm.
In Vancouver, it was a very warm winter. Our mean temperature was 6 degrees. The normal mean temperature is about 4.3.
Now, we could decide to have some fun with that at the expense of our eastern neighbors who got buried this winter.
It was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
But we wouldn't do that.
Shocking, to be honest.
The problem, Vancouver's warm winter meant less snow fell on the coastal mountains, which could cause serious issues this summer.
We really have depended very much in Vancouver and many other municipalities on the slow melt of snow coming from the mountains to recharge our reservoirs.
Right now, the region's snowpack is at about 75% of average, which could also leave forests vulnerable to wildfire this summer. At least that's the way things look now. Experts point out if the West Coast experiences a wet spring, particularly in June, which has earned the nickname January for its reputation of dampening the ground and spirits ahead of summer, water levels could be just fine. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
The city of Lacombe and Lacombe County are banding together to stop a possible closure of the Lacombe Research and Development Centre. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada confirmed the centre is among several federal facilities closing across the country. The federal government says it's part of a national workforce reduction. The county and city of Lacombe hope to highlight the centre's importance. Lacombe's mayor says the news came as a surprise. She believes this will have a major impact on their community.
It's, a significant contributor to our national GDP. Agriculture industry is a significant portion of Canada. And so when you reduce the amount of research, especially when it's research that applies to the growing conditions in this area, that will affect both the quality of what we're able to do, as far as, crops and livestock.
The task force testified before the Standing Committee on Agriculture and Agri-Food last month. Lacombe County Reeve John Ireland is a producer and on the task force. He says seeing it from a personal perspective gives him more motivation to try and reset the decision.
Disbelief, I guess, was my reaction. The research program nationally is so integrated. And there's so many reasons, geopolitical, food security, our agriculture industry is world class, and we need to to have that unbiased research in order to maintain our status in the world.
Deadline to submit a detailed report on the impacts passed earlier this week. The Standing Committee will have 45 days to table its final report in Parliament. A Canadian aircraft company marked a milestone at its headquarters in Alberta. De Havilland held a ceremony for the delivery of its 1,000th Twin Otter aircraft, which also happens to be its first Twin Otter Classic 300G model. Today, 2 planes were delivered to a Colombian company who used them to fly medical supplies to remote communities. De Havilland has been producing aircraft for more than 60 years to customers around the world. De Havilland Canada recently signed a $400 million agreement with the province to build 5 new water bombers to help fight wildfires in Alberta. Still to come, doctors shutting down social media.
There's all these different incentives for people to monetize misinformation and really very few guardrails to protect against it.
How the Canadian Medical Association is taking a stand against influencers' ill advice.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
Legendary American action movie star and martial artist Chuck Norris has died.
Lisa, would you go behind my pickup truck and pull down the tailgate for me, please?
Chuck Norris. The iconic tough guy, best known for his role in the long-running television series Walker, Texas Ranger, was a household name in the global martial arts scene. His family says he died suddenly yesterday, but they are keeping the circumstances private. He was recently hospitalized in Hawaii. Medical misinformation and wellness influencers with questionable advice are rampant on social media, some of them touting supplements or unproven treatments. As CTV's Penny Daflos explains, Canadian doctors have decided to fight fire with fire.
At first blush, they seem like a lot of reels on social media. Stop doom scrolling. But this isn't just entertainment.
I have no idea what the hell I'm saying.
It's actually a very thoughtful move targeting medical mis and disinformation.
It's a real skill set to be able to explain things in the types of language that anybody will understand.
The Canadian Medical Association has a growing team of influencers taking facts to Canadians on the social media platforms where they already spend time.
We need to make sure that we're interesting enough that people are engaging and wanting to watch videos, wanting to understand what we have to say, while still making sure that you are providing the evidence, that you are making sure that your advice is sound.
The videos range from basic info about hospitals to highlighting the absurdity and harms found in the wellness industry.
Do not put strange things into your vagina.
Super surprised at some of the videos of mine that have taken off. Like I have one about constipation that tens of thousands of people have watched, and I'm like, really? Okay, great.
Rita McCracken is a family doctor in Vancouver, quickly growing her online presence with evidence-based communication.
I'm glad to have a chance to speak to folks and to use my training and my ability to parse through the evidence.
There's all these different incentives for people to monetize misinformation and really very few guardrails to protect against it.
Wes Regan is studying these issues at UBC and is giving the Healthcare for Real project top marks for tackling everything from juice cleanses to artificial intelligence to adult ADHD diagnoses.
It comes off as authentic, which I think is important because a lot of the issues of trust often boil down to people feeling that these large institutions are these distant, opaque, big machines.
Because behind those cheeky videos,
'tis but a scratch,
are serious messages about pricey or even dangerous alternatives. Another reason to take a good look at whose information you're absorbing. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
That is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. I'm Jeff Hastings. Have a great weekend, everyone.